Hey all you vapors out there, you've been looking for a battery charger that'll fit your needs? Stay tuned and you just might find one that'll fit those needs. So what do we have here? This would be the Nitecore i1 IntelliCharger. Charges all kinds of IMR and lithium ion batteries, as you can see there on the box. One of the most popular for vapors being the 18650, but hey, look at that, right down there on the bottom, made for vapors. Why would that be? Well, it has an ego charging port built in. As you can see right there on the front of the box, the silver circle right above the bottom battery contact. That would be where you can directly screw in an ego battery and it will charge it for you. Pretty neat, pretty neat. What's my first impressions of this battery charger before we get into how it really works? I've tested many batteries with this charger. All of them have been 18650, varying capacities from 3400 milliamp hours down to 2300 milliamp hours. So far, the charger has done very good. It exceeded my expectations once I seen the charger in person. You know, it's a single charger. It runs in the price range anywhere from, I've seen it as low as $9.99 and I've seen it as high as $13, $12.99. Granted, you may be able to find it a little cheaper, you may be able to find it a little more expensive depending on where you buy it from. So that's what we're dealing with. We have a single bay IntelliCharger made by Nitecore with a specialized ego charging port, which is very handy. Very, very handy, especially if you have an ego style e-cigarette and you lose the charger for it. Well, then you either have to buy a whole new charger that's specific to an ego, or you could buy this, which could charge your 18650 standalone. It could charge your ego cigarette as well as an 18650 battery. So what we have is a very versatile charger in a small package for a very affordable price range. You really can't beat it. So with all that in mind, okay, does it really function the way it should? We shall find out. But first, what does this charger do? How does it function? What are the main features of this charger? And I've picked out some main features that I'd like to highlight for you. The battery does charge at 1 amp. That would be considered a fast charger. On the back of the charger, it actually has a USB port, which could charge a USB device, like a phone, anything USB, a tablet, a phone, an iPod. I don't know if they take a micro USB or not. So the USB port, it can charge many things, tablets, cell phones, etc. So that's pretty neat as well. And the way it works is this. If you're charging an 18650 battery or any of the other batteries, the IMR lithium ions that it does support, it will charge the battery first. And when the battery is done charging, it will then output voltage and current through the USB port. So it kind of, that's where the part of the intelligent comes into play, because it is an IntelliCharger. So it knows if you have a battery plugged in and charging, and if you have a USB plugged in, and it'll make the decision to charge the battery first. When the battery's done charging, it will then output power to the USB port. Pretty neat, pretty neat. So what else does it offer? We talked about the ego charging port, specially made for us vapors. Sweet. But you gotta admit, it's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat little feature. I myself don't use an ego device, but it could be very useful for somebody that does use an ego device. So this charger, it uses the constant current, constant voltage charge mode, which is nice. Automatically stops charging upon completion. It will activate depleted batteries as long as they have a protection circuit. It automatically detects the battery type and outputs the correct charge mode to charge that battery. It has intelligent charging priority with the USB port. Like I already explained, it'll charge the battery first and then it will switch power to the USB port to charge your tablet or your cell phone. The battery charger, it will shut itself off when it detects the battery is fully charged, which is really nice because you really wonder how safe some of these battery chargers are that are out there these days. There's a lot of battery chargers out there that, you know, come at a cheap price, but they also come with very cheap quality. And I can assure you, you are not getting cheap quality with this Nitecore i1 Intelligent Charger. The charger comes with various protections on it, like reverse polarity protection. So if you have the battery sitting out for a while and you're in a hurry and you grab it and you throw it in the charger and you say, oh my gosh, I just put that thing in there backwards. Well, one of those other cheap chargers would try to throw current into that battery in the wrong direction, and that would not turn out well. Could cause a fire, could cause the battery to explode, could cause the battery to leak. It will activate a depleted battery. A battery with a protection circuit is the only one that it will activate if it becomes depleted. So that's a very nice feature. The temperature on the case as it's charging at full current is very well within range. It's not going to burn your hand if you grab it while it's charging at full current. It's not going to start your carpet on fire. Nice thing is if you look very closely at the charger, you will see that it actually has little air vents built into it all along the side. The little fins, so to speak, on the side actually are air vents. So there's a lot of air being able to pass through the charger, which will cool it down as it's charging. The output voltage for an Ego device will be 4.2 volts plus or minus 1%. USB, it's 5 volts, and for the other types of IMR lithium-ion batteries that it does support, it's also 4.2 volts at 1%. Now, for some of you that may not know, what does that actually mean? That actually means that 1% of 4.2 volts, it could go below 4.2 by that amount or above 4.2 by that amount. That's the specification that Nitecore, the manufacturer, lists in their datasheet. So now that we've covered the major points of this charger, let's go ahead and look into if the specs that Nitecore states on their data sheets, if those actually are what's happening inside the charger. Because that plays a lot into safety, because if a manufacturer is going to tell you that the charger outputs a certain voltage with a certain percentage, you need to know that that's true. And that's why I'm bringing you this video, to show you if it's true or if it's not. So what we have here is the actual wattage that the charger will draw when it's charging a freshly depleted battery. And what I mean by depleted in that sense is when you take it out of your e-cigarette, because it says it's low, somewhere around 3.4 or 3.5 volts. That's what I mean in this sense by depleted. And right now it's drawing 7.2, sometimes 7.3 watts, and that's comparable to other good chargers that I've seen on the market. So what we see here is the actual amperage that the charger is drawing from the wall while it's charging at 1 amp, and right now it's reading 0.09 amps, which would be 90 milliamps. And on the back of the charger, if you read, it says it'll draw from the AC input, it will draw a 250 milliamp maximum current. So that's well within specification. Currently this battery has been charging for probably about 15 to 20 minutes, and what I'm going to do now is go ahead and take a temperature reading of the case and see what we get. So here I have my no-touch thermometer, and the warmest temperature that I read probing around on the case is about 107. And that would be right up on the top above the Nitecore sticker, right about up there. So you can see that it's not getting very warm. The battery itself is not getting very hot, which is a good thing. That means it's charging the battery correctly. So as you can see, the case itself is not getting very warm at all. That makes me very happy. So what I'd like to show you next is some voltage measurements, some current measurements, and the actual graph of the charge curves themselves, so we can really see what's going on inside this charger. So what I'm going to show here is the actual charging voltage of the charger. What we're going to see is how clean the signal is, but we're also going to see what the AC value of the charge wave is, which it should be really low. So let's check it out. The charge voltage is 3.6578 volts DC. The voltage for the AC is very low, so that's definitely good. The waveform looks really good, really clean. No big spikes, no noise. This is the charge current for a battery that is dead, as dead as I could get it with a protection circuit. And currently it is reading 1 amp of current for the output of the charger. That is very good. That's exactly what we would expect to see. And the waveform looks really good, really clean, no big spikes. Everything looks good. Currently what you see on the screen is the charge current for a battery that is done charging according to the charger LED status. Currently you see here that it's green. The current currently is reading 0.03 amps, which is very low. The charge current looks very good, very clean, nice waveform, exactly what I'd want to see from a good charger. So this is very good. Alright, so currently what we can see is that the battery's charging. For whatever reason it might be, let's just say you decide to take your battery out, and you take it over, you play with it a little bit, and you come back and you put it in backwards. Interesting. So it doesn't start to charge, and it doesn't read the LEDs. The LEDs are blank right now. So it's in there backwards, as you can see. Okay, so the battery doesn't feel hot. That's good. So let's go ahead, take it out, put it back in the right way. And it's charging, as we can see there. So this charger, when it reaches full charge, it'll change this red light to green, like so. You'll see some graphs on the screen right now that represent the constant current and constant voltage curve that this charger charges the battery with. The graphs look good. They represent a good constant current, constant voltage charge curve. It's good and safe for the battery, and it's just as Nitecore described in their specifications. The battery voltage was within 1% of 4.2 volts. So we see that the specs are good, the temperature of the case is good, there's nothing wrong with this charger. It's a nice little affordable battery charger that's going to work, it's going to be safe. You could leave it charging overnight, you could leave it charging while you go to work. You don't have to worry about this thing getting too hot or malfunctioning. There's safety devices inside of the battery charger that take care of that, so there's no need to worry there. One thing to note is with a lot of products these days, there's a lot of cheap knockoffs being made, and one way to get around that is Nitecore has a validation system where if you look on the box, there's a scratch off validation code. Scratch that off, enter the code into their website, and you will see that you either do or don't have a genuine Nitecore product. And at that time you should contact who you bought it from if that validation code does not work, and take the necessary steps that you would need to. So overall, I really like this charger. It does exactly what it says it should do. It's right in the specifications that Nitecore describes on their packaging. The packaging itself was really good. The cord is a nice length. The LEDs are very visible. Overall, this is a great little charger, and for $10 to $15, you really can't beat it for a little nice single bay charger. This is a good system. Cruiser 700 out.